So instead of making individual videos here, I'm just going to make one video of a lump sum of all the players that have connection to the Cincinnati Bengals. Meaning some sports outlet out there said that the Bengals should sign them, okay? And I'm going to talk about all these guys and go through the whole entire list here. Two players who are honorable mentions, who would not be on this list for obvious reasons, are Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley. I do not believe in any way possible we're going to go out there and sign either of those guys. I'm not saying that they're not good. They obviously are great players. Thing is, though, we're not going to go and compete with the rest of the teams who are going to try to give them a bag. We can't afford that. I know we have a lot of money in salary cap, and that's great. We got Chase's contract to work out. We got T's contract to work out. DJ Reader. We don't have money to go out there and spend on a running back. We really don't. We have Joe Mixon in the backfield coming off of a 1,000-yard season. It just isn't really realistic. And plus, Chase Brown's going to be the future of this team. So there's no point for us to go out there and spend that much money on a running back when we have to worry about our offensive line more than running back position, right? We can worry about running back position in the draft if we want to, but not in free agency here. Unless we get someone who's like really next to nothing cost-wise. But we're not going to spend a bag on someone, okay? That's just not going to work. Nonetheless, though, let's start off with our really great one. Seahawks star predicted to bolt for the Bengals in $50 million move. And the player they're talking about is Leonard Williams. Now, Leonard Williams is an amazing defensive tackle / defensive end. He played for the Jets for a little bit of time, and then he went to the Seahawks. He also went, I think, to another team, too. Nonetheless, though, as it says in this article, he is projected to make a 3-year, $50 million deal, which would average a $16.7 million average for his contract. No. I love Leonard Williams, okay? I'm going to start this off by saying I think Leonard Williams is a great defensive lineman. And like I said before, yeah, so he played for the Jets. He was a first-round selection in the 2015 NFL Draft. 76.2 overall grade. He's a great player. He's not really that great in run defense, but he's a great pass rusher. And he would help out our defense. A lot of these free agents, you know, we're going to talk about today would help out our defense and improve our defense drastically. He actually played for the Giants. Okay, so that's the other team I remember. So he played for the Giants and Seahawks. But when you give someone $16.7 million, right? I'd rather give DJ Reader that money. And I think we can get DJ Reader for less than that. But I'd rather give DJ Reader a $12.5, $13 million, knowing that he already knows our system. He already knows our defense. He knows what he's doing. And there's the chance of failure is little to none, right? The risk reward here. The risk of bringing back DJ Reader is that he can get hurt again. But reality-wise, other than 2 quad tears, one in 2020 and one in 2024, he's been relatively clean. The reward, we get ourselves a top 10, top 5 defensive tackle in the league again in DJ Reader. The risk of signing him is you're spending all this money, crazy money out there, $50 million. The reward, you could get yourself a really top 10 defensive lineman. I'd rather spend the money on DJ Reader. And again, the risk also, you're spending all that money. The risk is you also getting someone who maybe doesn't work in your system, doesn't work for your defense, and now you have a $50 million mistake we're talking about in a year. And that just, we can't afford that. We can't, when I say afford that, I'm not saying money-wise we can't afford that. I mean team-wise we can't afford that. We're in a team, our team right now is a Super Bowl team. We can go win it all, okay? We can't mess around and dick around with this kind of stuff. We can't afford to. Right now, we have all these great players on this roster. We have that guy right there, number 9. We got to go win it all. So, while I agree that Leonard Williams is a great player, I'd rather go out there and spend the money on offensive linemen and protect Joe Burrow and then worry about the rest. And I know the point is, well, you got to worry about defense, because if you have a bad defense, Joe ain't going to do anything. Disagree with that to a certain degree, but I do agree we got to work on defense. So that's why we'll say, find options cheaper that still give you good quality value. And that's also another thing. We have to hit on the draft. All right. Second one. Should the Bengals consider signing Tommy Townsend? So, the rare W from the Kansas City Chiefs is that they signed the Bills' legendary punter, Matt Riza. I believe that's his name. And because of that, they cut Tommy Townsend. Because he was going to cost them, I think, $3 million. And Matt Riza's $900K. So should we sign him? And to be honest, Tommy Townsend looked really freaking good last year. He also looked good in the playoffs. And he's good because, I mean, he's been around the league for a while, right? It's not a brand new punter, okay? This is a really good punter. Here's what I'll say, right? I love Brad Robbins. I do. And he obviously was a rookie last year. And you can't write off a rookie punter after 1 year. If you did that, there wouldn't be any punters in the NFL. Because at the end of the day, then every single punter who ends up being great and being good later in their career would literally not be in the NFL because it would all be cut by that time. Tommy Townsend, while again, very great. I want to see this real fast. Tommy Townsend. Let's see. I believe, and I'm spitballing here, and he was drafted in 2020. And by the way, I mean, his punting grades aren't really the greatest either. There you go. So, 2020, didn't play 2021, 2022. 2023, he did play. Brad Robbins, again, I'm keeping him. I'm keeping him over going with someone else right now. You got to give him 1 more year. And if he sucks halfway through this next year and he's really awful and he's just trash, maybe you bring somebody else in for competition. But for right now, I'm keeping our boy, Brad Robbins. All right. Next one. Michael Pittman. No. And it's not a no as in, oh, well, we don't need him. No, it would be nice to have a third wide receiver on our team. But again, it really comes to allocating resources for that money to another said position. In a perfect world, I would say yes. Michael Pittman would be great to have as the third receiver on this offense. It's not realistic, though. We don't need a receiver. That's why I've been against the idea of taking a receiver in the first round of most mock drafts that I see that they have us taking Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr. is a great player. He has a lot of value. My problem is I don't want to take the guy with a position we don't need. We need to take positions we do need. The second player that is listed here that isn't on this website, this is Bleacher Report by the way, is Gabe Davis of the Buffalo Bills. Again, another really great player. Field stretcher, opens up the field. I love it. We have 2 of those guys, field stretchers, Chase and T. We don't need another one right now, as in, again, value / what we need, okay? What we need is offensive line. Could we use a field stretcher? Yes. A third one we could. We need offensive line. So, that's why I am kind of against the idea of going receiver. I know there's other players like Mike Evans they talk about. They talk about Marquise Brown. Hell no. Calvin Ridley. All these guys. And again, like I said, listen. Am I against the idea of signing a wide receiver in free agency? No. I'm not against it. What I'm against is players like this who are going to get the bag because they're going to be targeted by many different teams. I don't want to get in a bidding war with 7 different teams going after one player. Because all that does is you bid the price up higher and higher and higher. We can't do that. And I think, yeah, okay, so the last 2 are posts that were posted on NFL.com, or sorry, NFL Twitter. And this is the next guy we have here, Xavier Howard. Now, Xavier Howard, the reason why they say we should sign him is because I believe our new secondaries coach, secondary/safety coach, he actually played with him, and he's the reason why Xavier Howard got drafted when he got drafted back, I want to say in 2020. And so now there's connection saying, well, our secondary is our safety coach. He, went ahead and played with, or he coached him. He was the reason why he got signed or drafted. So we should pick him up. And listen, as I say, everyone for the correct value, I agree. Marlon Humphrey also might get cut. And I wouldn't mind signing Marlon Humphreys. It just comes down to the correct price tag. So I'm not going to say no for Xavier Howard. I'm not saying no. What I'm saying, though, is there needs to be a correct price tag for this said player. So depending on the money, yeah, I wouldn't be against the idea of signing him. I think he'd be a great addition, depending on the money. That's, again, depends on the money. And then the last guy we have here is Shaquille Barrett. Again, depending on the money, I would say absolutely yes. I think we could use another linebacker, especially as a rotation, if anything, with Jermaine Pratt. Behind him, we have, Joe Bacci, Akeem Davis-Gaither. It's kind of not really that good. So I would love to have a rotation piece. Shaquille Barrett is more of a coverage guy, if anything. And that is something that really could help us out to have a coverage guy. He is entering his 10th season, which, he's up there in age. And that's something that I know Cincinnati doesn't always like to target, is older players. So that's something to take in consideration. But at the same time, could help us out, help out the team overall wise. So why not? Tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. Remember, everyone's a yes, depending on the price. Peace out.